Hello viewers, a good late afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Sage, you're watching 𝐊𝐶𝐞 TV live from Sydney. This is the last show of the day and the last show of the week, the last trade. There's no better way to wind down the day than with today's market close commentary, so let's dive straight in. The Australian shares ended higher for the third straight session on Friday amid the surge in buying in the final hours of the day's trade. The equity market witnessed a bullish trade despite a slew of negative economic news. And the Reserve Bank has said that the economy will contract in coming months due to the Delta outbreak. The ASX 200 rose 0.36% to settle at fresh closing high, and the benchmark index ended the week with 1.97% gains, thanks to the strong rally in the banking and tech stocks, especially after pay. The equity market managed to scale new highs even after the RBA trimmed its forecast for the GDP growth this year from 4.75% down to 4%. And the RBA Governor Philip Lowe said the economic activity will contract in coming months, but ruled out that the country will suffer a recession this year. Adding to the woes, estimates from economists showed that Sydney could lose 300,000 jobs from its extended lockdown. Among the individual stocks, Diversified Media Group News Corporation was the biggest gainer today, rising 7%, and some of the other notable gainers were BNPL Major Afterpay and real estate firm Uni-Balra-Demco Westfield. On the losing side, mining firm Perseus Mining topped the chart with 5.7% loss, and some of the other worst performers were property app Domain Holdings Australia, digital media firm REA Group, and iron ore producer Champion Iron. Next up, let's see how the sectoral indices performed today. And the market witnessed a mixed trading today as 7 of the 11 sectoral indices ended in the green zone. Information technology sector emerged as a top performer with 2% gains, tracking positive cues from the US counterparts, Nasdaq. Some of the other sectors that gained included energy, industrials, healthcare, AREIT, financials and consumer discretionary. On the flip side, material sectors remained the worst performer for the second day, falling 1.2%. And among others, telecom utilities and consumer staples also ended with marginal losses. The material stocks remained under the pressure due to a fall in the iron ore prices. China's decision to curb steel output in the second half of the year has taken a toll on the iron ore prices. And during the day's trade, iron ore prices for the September delivery slumped to a 4-month low. The index heavyweights BHP Group, Rio Tinto and Fortescue Metals Group ended in a negative terrain. Reversing the previous session losses, the energy stock witnessed buying after a spurt in oil prices, and the index heavyweights Woodside Petroleum and Oil Search ended higher. In the banking pack, 3 of Australia's big 4 lenders, Westpac Banking Corporation Australia and New Zealand Banking Group and the National Australia Bank, ended higher, and the Commonwealth Bank of Australia closed flat. And now, before we look at the shares that are in the news today, it's time for a short break. We'll be back after this.
Tune in to stay updated while on the move.
We will tell you where the crypto craze has reached,
Where the property market is headed next.
what the world is doing to become more environmentally friendly.
Apart from tracking the daily market charter.
Be on top of the latest news and announcements
With 𝐊𝐶𝐞 TV.
Welcome back, viewers. Sage here. You're watching 𝐊𝐶𝐞 TV live from Sydney. Hopefully you've enjoyed your Friday wherever you may be watching from. This is the last show of the day, the last trade. In this segment, we'll shift our focus towards the stocks that created a buzz today. Beginning with shares of ResMed, who dropped over 2% after the medical device manufacturer announced its fourth quarter results, and revenue increased by 14% to reach $876 million in the June quarter of 2021 compared to the same period last year. The company also declared a quarterly cash dividend of 42 US cents per share. For the full year financial year 2021, revenue increased 8%. Reaching $3.2 billion while the gross margin stood at 57.5%. Next up, shares of Kaninda Resources gained over 3% after it updated on its diamond drilling program. The Mineral Explorer has commenced a planned diamond drilling program at the significant Mount Kaninda copper-gold project in central Queensland. As per the release, the diamond drilling program is proceeding well. Drilling at the first significant hole is to be complete next week, after which the company will send the core for assay. The share price of Vital Metals rose over 11% on production ramps at 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐞 rare earth project in northwest Canada. And the company said that it has completed the first month of the rare earth production at 𝐊𝐴𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐴, Canada. It has found intersects with high-grade REO mineralisation in the North T pit wall, which will add up to the company's existing mineral resources. Also making the news, shares of News Corporation rose over 7% following the June quarter earnings results. Revenues rose by 30% to $2.49 billion compared to $1.92 billion in the year ago period. The net loss narrows to $15 million as against a loss of $401 million in the corresponding quarter last year. For the fiscal year 2021, revenue rose 4% from a year ago, up to $9.36 billion. And the share price of Metals X dropped after its CEO resigned. The company announced that Michael Spreadborough will step down from the role of Chief Executive Officer effective 9th of August 2021. The release stated that given the change in the strategic direction of the company following the divestment of its copper and nickel assets, the role will not be replaced at this time. And moving on, shares of Afterpay climbed over 5% after its takeover suitor Square Inc. surged in overnight trades on Wall Street. The stock has witnessed a strong rally this week after Twitter boss Jack Dorsey's Square unveiled its plans to acquire the BNPL giant for $39 billion Australian dollars. Square plans to integrate Afterpay services into its existing offerings to tap the younger generation who prefer digital payments. The merger and acquisition deal is expected to close in early 2022. Also making the news, shares of BHP Group fell 2.5%, owing to a fall in the commodity prices, and the mining giant in an exchange update said it has approved a $544 million capital expenditure at the Shenzi North Oil project. It has also approved $258 million capital expenditure to move the Trion oil project into the front-end engineering design phase. BHP operates the project and now holds a 72% share in Shenzi North, while it holds a 60% participating interest in the operatorship of blocks at the Trion discovery. And the share price of K2Fly rallied as much as 13% after the mining software and services provider secured a contract today. The company announced that Alcoa USA Corp has signed a 5-year tailings management SaaS contract to roll out to 7 sites globally. The total contract value for this transaction is over 1.5 million Australian dollars. Alcoa is one of the world's largest bauxite miners, with 7 global mines in Australia, Brazil, Guinea and Saudi Arabia. Also catching the investors' attention, shares of Family Zone Cyber Safety entered a trading halt, pending an announcement regarding the completion of the institutional entitlement offer. The software and digital services player is launching a fully underwritten $146 million Australian dollar capital raising at 55 cents per share to finance $142 million Australian dollar acquisition of the UK group Smoothwall. It has executed a binding agreement to acquire Smoothwall, UK's leading provider of digital safety solutions, for $142 million Australian dollars cash consideration. Smoothwall is an industry pioneer with a mature filtering product and a leading position in the UK education, servicing approximately 38% of the market. Shares of Gold 50 also made a muted debut on the ASX after successfully completing its $10 million Australian dollar IPO. The shares of the precious metals mining company were trading flat at 26 cents. Founded in October 2020, it is an early-stage gold exploration company focused on discovery in the world's most attractive mining jurisdictions of Arizona and Nevada, USA. Meanwhile, a newly listed company, Pantera Minerals, tumbled over 7% on the second day of trade. The Western Australian-focused mining explorer made a bumper debut on the ASX on Thursday after receiving an overwhelming response to its $7 million Australian dollar IPO. The stocks gained as much as 187% in the intraday before closing 102% higher on the first day of trading. And now, before we look at the Asian markets, it's time for a short break.
there, James Preston for 𝐊𝐿𝐴 TV. Are you into gaming and virtual reality? Does AI and the endless possibilities it entails capture your interest? Or are you constantly trawling through the web to try and discover the latest updates and innovations in the tech space? Well, let us do the work for you. From the latest product launches to shocking affairs on the World Wide Web, exclusive interviews and information about the top companies like Apple and Google to brand new tech startups vying for your attention. 𝐊𝐴 Tech Beat has the latest in what matters in the world of technology. Join me every single Monday on the Tech Beat, exclusive to 𝐊𝐴 TV.
Welcome back, viewers. Thanks for joining us. Sage here. You're watching 𝐊𝐴 TV live from Sydney. This is the last show of the day, the last trade. And now in this segment, we'll take a look east towards the Asian markets performance. And the Asian markets were trading mostly lower as cautious prevailed in the market ahead of the release of a closely eyed US jobs report. And meanwhile, investors also digested the US jobless claims data, which showed fewer Americans filed for unemployment benefits last week. The layoffs dipped in July to their lowest level in just over 2 decades as companies held on to workers amid a labour shortage. China's Shanghai Composite was down 0.5%, while the South Korean Kospi traded 0.4% lower. In a similar trend, Taiwan's weighted stock index dropped 0.2% and the Thailand's SET Composite fell 0.5%. Backing the trend, however, Japan's Nikkei rose 0.3%, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng traded marginally higher. India's BSE Sensex also gained 0.1% in the opening deals. Let's move on now from Asia to the US, and Wall Street ended higher overnight as investors cheered the weekly jobless claims data. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.59%. The S&P 500 gained 0.43%. The Nasdaq Composite added 0.62%. Backing the trend, shares of the buzzy stock trading app Robinhood nosedived 28% after shareholders filed to sell nearly 100 million Class A common shares within a week after its initial public offering. In the previous session, the stock had rallied over 50% on buying by Wall Street's renowned tech investor Cathie Wood. And in the last segment of this show, let's have a quick look over the crypto market's performance. The cryptocurrencies were trading mixed on Friday, with major coins such as Bitcoin and Ether trading higher, while Dogecoin and Cardano were lower. Ether, the world's second largest crypto, was in focus following a software upgrade that will trim the pace at which fresh tokens are minted. And the Ethereum blockchain network updated its software called as the London hard fork that included a fee reduction feature called EIP 1559. Boosted by the development, the price of Ether rose 3%. The Bitcoin, world's largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, was also up 2%. The most popular crypto is hovering around the US $40,000 level for the last week now, and meanwhile the price of other digital currencies such as Dogecoin, XRP and Cardano were all trading lower. Well, that's all for now in the last trade, and with our existing operations in Australia, New Zealand, UK and Canada, 𝐊𝐴 Media has launched its operations in the US markets as well. And every day in our first show, the Global Market Roundup, you can get the latest and important news of the US, Europe and Asia Pacific markets. So on that note, we'll see you as close as possible 10 a.m. Monday morning live from Sydney. Sage signing off.